Hello and welcome to today's conversation with our wonderful guest, Nanette Murphy. Today I'll be talking about how to have a successful divorce with no regrets. And I'm excited to have our guest speaker today, who's also actually a speaker at the Women Thrive Summit, who I met a few months ago. And I was just so inspired by her story and the power of transformation, and also how she helps and support others right now with other women through divorce and also health coaching. So, Nanette, welcome to today's conversation. Good to have you here.
Hello, Ramonda. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
So, I want to just kind of get a little bit more insight about what you do. I was really fascinated when I first met you, and you've just, you have an amazing story, but I want our audience to get to know a little bit more about what you do.
Well, Ray, I am a divorce and health coach for women divorcing, but not just divorcing, but women who are divorcing later in life. They've been married many years, and I help them prepare. Divorce, you need preparation. I guide them through and help them, and with what to do, what order to do it in, and I feel like what I do just helps them alleviate some of the stress because going through a divorce, it's a stressful time, and I want to help them prepare and not only get them to survive their divorce, but then thrive afterwards.
Yeah. And I know it's such a sensitive thing to go through, and to go through is maybe if you're going through during this time of the year.
Mm.
If you're joining us for this conversation right now, I'd love for you to introduce yourself in a chat. Just say hello, and it may not be relevant for you, and right now, right? It may not be something relevant for you right now, but I want you to stick around because Nanette's story is really inspiring. And overall, for me, my goal is to empower women with the knowledge and inspiration. And, we've all been through things or going through things. And I think it's just so important that we have these conversations that perhaps not be most fun or um, not something we want to have talk about how to have a successful divorce, but it's so necessary. Okay, so stick around, ladies. If you're watching this live, please feel free to share it or tag someone. And Nanette, so tell me more about your story. It's a lot to unpack, but just tell me a little bit where you are now and a little bit about your story of how to do what you do today.
Okay, well, I suppose in a nutshell, I am today happily remarried almost 4 years ago, um, which is something I never intended to do, but here I am. I have three adult children who are now thriving and happy, and after the struggles that we all went through. And excitingly enough, in 2020, educating myself and becoming a certified life and health coach, and then rolling into this experience of being a divorce coach. And um, Ray, I found my purpose. I found my passion because after separation and divorce, it's a struggle to figure out what's next, especially when you're over 50. I was over 50, and I had met my ex-husband when I was 18. We were together more than 30 years, and you know, um, someone else stepped into my space, and I don't even know. The word devastation is the only word that I can ever use to describe how I felt. My life exploded. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to cry. I haven't talked about this in a long time, but not having control of your life is terrifying. Not having a voice and not knowing what's next is terrifying. So, getting through all of that um, was beyond, it was darkness that I had never felt before. But now, Ray, finally in 2020, there was a moment when I realized, as we all know, what the heck are we all going to do with our life in this crazy moment? And again, I'll try to keep this short, but it started for me with a Yale University free online course called The Science of Wellbeing. And it was just, you hear one person's name and it leads you to this other platform, and it just exploded. And I became involved I learned how to meditate and reflect and really dig deep inside my soul to figure out, what is my next purpose in life? My kids were grown. My marriage had failed. I'm with someone else, but you don't know. I wanted to be independent. And from life coaching, I became certified in health coaching, and then divorce coaching came into my realm that I didn't even know when I was divorcing there was such a thing. I Googled how to save my marriage. I never Googled, how do I divorce? Didn't occur to
Wow.
me. It
Wow.
didn't occur to me. And now it is I want to say a mission, but no, it's a passion and a purpose to get my message out to women who are in that pain, in that fear, in that shameful space that they feel that they're in. Like they feel shameful, but they shouldn't. But that's what you feel like. And I need to get that message out to them, to don't go at it alone. Don't try to, always be that strong one. It's okay to ask for support, and it's okay to reach out. And that's really what I want to do. I want these women to find me so that I can help them. Am I
Yeah.
going to make it perfect? No, I'm going to take away some of the stress and some of the anxiety and help them know that if someone's supporting you, and that you can talk to someone and they understand that deep pain, it can make the process go a little smoother. Like it's a little softer landing for them. So I hope that, explains how I got here and why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Oh my God, you nearly made me cry. I'm so
I'm sorry. I don't normally get choked up, but all of a sudden today I got choked up. And I don't know, maybe it's because of the holidays. The holidays are coming, and it just, it's a struggle. It's a
yeah,
struggle
and
for many.
yeah, exactly. And I think you just feeling that passion for what you do because you've been there. You've been in those shoes where you were in a dark place. And I can't imagine, and we're not here to blame or shame anyone at all,
No,
at all.
no.
But being in a relationship from an 18-year-old when you met your husband and then finding yourself in a place where this has caught you off guard, it's not something you wanted or planned for
Mm,
in terms of divorce. And just imagine how many other people, especially right now during Christmas period, might be thinking that their relationship is coming to an end. We had these conversations with you, Nanette, before that people usually hire lawyers, right, to
oh,
help them. It's an expensive way to have therapy.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. And I'm learning so much, speaking to other women who've been through divorce and who've said, boy, I wished I'd have met you, when I was going through my divorce. I hear that so many times. And I always say, I wished I'd have known me when I was going through my divorce. I wished I would have known. And I really believe that I just didn't Google the right words. I kind of laugh at myself now. I'm going, wow, I guess if I'd have researched it better, maybe I would have known, but I didn't. So, yeah, I'm so passionate about this the longer I do it.
Yeah, and it's just like I said, people finding you at the right time,
Absolutely.
which is important. Ladies, for those of you watching this, I'd love to see you in a chat. Where are you joining us from? Just leave a little message there for us, so it doesn't feel so lonely here, whether you're watching this live or in replay. You don't have to tell us whether you're going through this right now. I won't ask you. But
Mm,
if you are going through something like this, or you're considering, or your personal circumstances are changing, just know that this conversation is here to support you. And if you want a discreet conversation with Nanette, please do reach out to her. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I'll just put it out there. Nanette, so let's talk about this journey of being in this place where it's pretty dark.
Hmm.
What was the first step, really? When you found the news of what was devastating for you, what's really the next step in trying to figure it out or rebuilding? So if women are going through what they're going through right now, what's that light at the end of the tunnel?
So it took me, I'm going to be totally transparent. It took me 2 years of living in denial, living in silence, and living with the pain inside. And it wasn't until my, after multitudes of times of, saying he's going to leave, finally I said, just go. And there was 9 months where I was on my own with my kids. And that 9 months was what I needed, because it gave me the confidence to know I can do this. I'm fine. I'm going to be fine. And, fast forward, he came back and left again. But that point, the other uh, really pivotal moment for me was when I actually moved out of my marital home, got my own space, created my own comfortable, safe haven, and started creating my own life, my own memories, and just starting over. It was terrifying. I tried to do that within those first 2 years of denial. But the thing was, is I wasn't ready. So, going to statistics, they say that a woman specifically, thinks about it for 2 years, whether like it's in their mind and it's something they think that. I knew it was inevitable, but I was in denial for a long time. So I think when you're in that moment, you really can't rush the process. You truly can't. You have to go at your own pace. Talking to, I did go to seek counseling, but you get to that moment where you go, I can't do this anymore. I need to take the next step. The other thing I want to say, Ramonda, is that I learned that healing is an active process.
Mm.
You can't just expect the world to fix you. You have to, number one, you have to want it, and you have to be ready. And then you have to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. So I dove into um, um, volunteering. I volunteered at a daycare center, and I started, going to different gyms and, socializing with, new friends. But it took me a minute to get there. But once I realized that I could do it, and the confidence that I have now as compared to what I had 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, it's like I'm two different people.
I love that. I love that you said healing is an active process.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
it's not going to happen on its own. You have to be active participant in it.
You do, you do. I wrote, well, I've written a book, and in one of the parts of my book, I said my heart felt like it had been torn into pieces and then blown away in the tornado that just ripped through my life. But there was a small piece left, and I began to nurture it, and it grew. And that's when I realized that I can't just wait for some miracle to happen. Clearly I prayed. I mean, I shouldn't say clearly, but that's what I did. I prayed. And what I prayed for was peace, happiness, and love, in that order. And it wasn't so much love of someone else from someone else. It was more to love myself again. And that is That's actually how I sign off on all my books when I sign, wishing you peace, happiness, and love. Because if the world only had all of that, we would be so great. So that's what I wish for women, everyone, but specifically women who are in that dark, painful place, and they're just looking for the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you are in that dark space, it feels like you're so alone. And
Mhm.
especially if you've been betrayed, the
Mhm.
level of trust or reaching out for help, it's not an easy thing. And generally, I've had so many conversations lately about women asking for help, and it's not an easy thing to do. But
No,
after you've gone through something like that, and sometimes you don't know what help you need, but asking for this help or support could be really, really challenging.
absolutely, absolutely. And it's funny, Ray. I think I talked about this the other day on our group chat. When I finally was honest with people, and because for 2 years I thought I was, hiding myself, hiding everything was perfect. And when I finally came to my family and told them what was going on, the weight of that lie lifting off me, oh, it just gave me a new breath. It just gave me um, a little bit more confidence, just being honest and open. I guess it's speaking your truth, that no, my life isn't perfect. It's far from it, but that's okay. We're going to get through it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And sometimes we do have to go through these moments of life shaking us up. When something is not aligned or it's not working out, sometimes life comes and like gives us a good rattle. It's like, hey, wake
Definitely,
up.
definitely. I got a good rattle. I got a good rattle. But the the strange part that I still reflect on now is, do I miss my old life? No, I don't miss the life, because there was always chaos, but just that family unit, when my kids, especially now coming home at Christmas, they have to divide their time. But yet, would I change it? I don't think I would, because then I wouldn't be this woman who I've always knew I could be, always wanted to be, but wasn't given the space to be her. So there's such a balance and there's such a give and take. And it just came to my mind, Ray, that one of the things that made me realize that I had to um, move on and rebuild my life and be independent was because I have three kids, two girls and a boy, and I wanted them to look at me with respect, that their mom, you know, did everything she could to save the marriage, but also knew when it was over and had enough respect and didn't want to be disrespected any longer, and just said, this is it. I'm not going to be treated this way anymore. And so my kids, they literally held me up and they didn't even know it,
Wow.
because it was for them. I'm like, I wanted, number one, my daughters to know that you can't be treated like this. And number two, my son, you can't treat a woman like that. You have to treat each other equally with respect. Um, so yeah, that's, for anybody, woman who's listening to this, or who may listen to this in the future, you can definitely take the time to heal yourself, but um, think about, if you stay in that miserable space, what you're reflecting towards your kids. What are you teaching them? So that's, yeah, my final word on that.
Beautiful. That alone, whether you're going through divorce or not, I think that just being example of who you know you are, and no, there's no shoulds, or there's no expectations, but putting your self-worth first.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
being conscious of the people that your decisions are impacting, which in your case was your children,
Yeah.
and observing and setting the right examples is just, it's so important in the family dynamics, because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just about ourselves, right? It's like, oh my God, I'm in this place or whatever. But I admire your strength for standing strong and saying, you know, what example am I setting for my children? Actually, I'm not willing to do that, right?
Yeah.
So if it's not, it wasn't just for you, it was also for your children.
Absolutely, absolutely. And along the journey, changing my name back to my maiden name, I asked my kids for permission to do that. I asked them, "Do you mind?" And they were all adults at that point, and they totally understood. And then when I wrote my story, I wrote my book, I asked them, "Are you okay with this?" I wrote it not to hurt anyone. I wrote it to inspire others. But I did. I asked, like, "Are you guys okay with this?" And if one of them had said, "No, Mom, that's just wrong. Don't do it," I probably wouldn't have done it, because ultimately they are who I want. I respect them, but I want them to respect me as well.
Beautiful, sure. So for those of you watching this, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop it in the chat right now. We're talking about how to have a successful divorce with no regrets, and by no stretch of imagination, this is an easy subject. This might not be a timely conversation for you, and which is absolutely fine. But one thing I know for sure, that the Nanette story is so inspiring, and you can learn so much just from those little nuggets of, you know, setting the right example, making the right decision, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel when the hard situations hit your life. I think has been, for me, just beautiful, beautiful takeaways. Luckily, I am not in that position to need your support right now.
Right.
But I hope your message reaches the people that do need it, and at a timely manner. So for those of you who are watching this right now, if you do know someone who's struggling in their relationship and going through divorce, this might be just the inspirational message to keep them going, or to know that there is help and support.
Mm-hmm.
Nanette, I'm really honored to have you on our stage this year as one of our
Yeah.
speakers for the Women Thrive Summit. And for those of you who don't know what Women Thrive Summit, this is our annual women empowerment event that we host every March. And next year is going to be amazing and inspiring. We have 47 amazing speakers, which Nanette is one of the speakers lined up for this event. So Nanette, tell us a little bit more about your talk, and I'm going to just share the details of how people can register.
Oh, okay. Well, my talk is going to be um, giving women insight on why they should prepare. I mean, I'm never happy to say, "Oh, I'm glad you're here," because you're divorcing. It's not a happy time, but I want to give them insight in this talk about why preparation is so important, who you need to hire, and everything that you need to gather, and the information that you want to have before you go and speak to your lawyer. But the other thing, when I do my coaching, and what I want to talk about, is a woman's self-care is so important any day of the week, but especially at this time of struggling. And um, it's so easy to let go of yourself. You slip into a depressed stage, you're not happy, you don't want to see anybody. But I want to help them get that routine going. Let's eat healthy. Let's get your mind, body, and soul ready for this, because not only will it get you through your divorce, it will get them through that next stage in life. Because that what's next, boy, that too is exciting, and you get to create that. So that's what the message that I want to share with the women at this summit.
Amazing. So Ladies, for those of you watching, please do register at thewomenthrivesummit.com if you want to save your spot. There is a waiting list available. Our tickets launching officially in January. I'm excited for you to meet Nanette as well as 47 other amazing speakers on our summit. There's going to be lots of surprises, lots of amazing content, and you get to actually engage live. So you can join these talks live, ask questions, connect with other amazing people. And the summit is all about helping women to rise and thrive through any difficult situations. And it's a holistic approach to business and personal life, because without you, there is no business. So thank you all so much for watching us. And Nanette, it's a pleasure to have you here. I
Oh
appreciate
my
you.
gosh. Thank you, Ray. It's been such a pleasure.
Thanks. Thank you for now, and look forward to seeing you on another live. Please do make sure you do share this message with someone who needs this today.
Thank you.